Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, change is always out of reach? Maybe you've set big goals, only to lose motivation along the way. The truth is, lasting change doesn't happen overnight. It happens through small, almost invisible actions repeated consistently over time. Today we're diving into the principles of James Clear's Atomic Habits to understand how tiny, incremental changes can completely transform your life. James Clear introduces a powerful concept. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. What does this mean? It means that the big, ambitious goals we set are only achievable if we create daily habits and systems to support them. For example, if you aim to write a book, the goal alone won't get you there. It's the habit of writing a few hundred words each day that will. Clear argues that the most effective way to make progress isn't by aiming for drastic overnight changes, but by improving by just 1% each day. While 1% may seem insignificant in the moment, over time, the compound effect of these small improvements is extraordinary. By the end of the year, those tiny gains will have multiplied to make you 37 times better. Imagine that. The problem is, we often overlook these small actions because we expect immediate results. We fall into the trap of thinking that if we don't see a transformation after a week of new habits, then it's not working. But real change is subtle at first and only becomes apparent after sustained effort. The secret lies in consistency. So how do we build these small, impactful habits into our lives? Clear outlines 4 simple yet profound laws that can guide us in the process. The first law is to make it obvious. If you want to develop a new habit, set up clear triggers that prompt you to act. For instance, if you want to start reading every night, leave a book on your pillow. This way, you can't avoid it. The second law is to make it attractive. Our brains are wired to pursue things that bring us pleasure, so if a habit feels dull or boring, we'll naturally resist it. One strategy Clear suggests is habit stacking, pairing something you need to do with something you enjoy. For example, you could listen to your favorite podcast while you go for a run. This pairing makes the new habit more enjoyable and, therefore, more likely to stick. Third, make it easy. We often fail at forming new habits because we make them too difficult right from the start. Clear encourages us to lower the barrier to entry. Instead of committing to an hour-long workout, start with just 5 minutes. The idea is to build momentum, and once the habit becomes part of your routine, you can gradually increase the difficulty. The fourth law is to make it satisfying. Humans are hardwired for immediate rewards, so when forming a new habit, it's essential to find ways to make it feel gratifying. This could be as simple as checking off a habit tracker or giving yourself a small reward after completing the task. The more immediate the reward, the more likely you are to repeat the behavior. But perhaps the most powerful message in Atomic Habits is this. True behavior change is identity change. It's not just about achieving a goal, but about becoming the type of person who achieves that goal. Too often, we focus on what we want to achieve without considering who we need to become to achieve it. Let's say you want to get fit. Instead of just focusing on the outcome of losing weight, shift your mindset. Rather than saying, "I want to lose 10 pounds," start telling yourself, "I am someone who values their health and exercises regularly." This identity shift is what ultimately sustains the habit, because it becomes part of who you are, not just something you're doing temporarily. This is where many people get stuck. We aim for change, but we don't believe that we're capable of it. The key is to focus on small wins that reinforce the identity you want to build. Each time you stick to your workout plan, you're casting a vote for "I am someone who is committed to fitness." Each time you sit down to write, you're reinforcing the identity of "I am a writer." Over time, these small actions compound to create a new version of you. It's important to remember that building habits and making changes isn't about being perfect. One of the most common mistakes people make is expecting perfection. and then giving up entirely when they inevitably slip up. But James Clear reminds us that mistakes are part of the process. Missing one day of practice doesn't ruin the habit. What matters is getting back on track as soon as possible. Think about it this way. If you miss a workout, you don't cancel your entire fitness journey. Instead, you pick up where you left off. The idea is not to let one failure spiral into a series of missed opportunities. The longer you wait to get back on track, the harder it becomes. The goal is to avoid the all-or-nothing mentality. Remember, it's not about doing it perfectly, it's about doing it consistently. Even the smallest effort counts, as long as you keep moving forward. So, what can you do today to set yourself on the path of transformation? Start with something small. Pick one habit, just one, and commit to it. It could be as simple as reading 10 pages of a book each day, or going for a 10-minute walk after lunch. Remember, it's not the size of the habit that matters, it's the consistency. James Clear's Atomic Habits teaches us that we don't need to make huge, dramatic changes to achieve success. Instead, we can start small and allow those small habits to build momentum over time. As Clear puts it, small habits don't add up. They compound. Today is your opportunity to make a change. Start by becoming 1% better than you were yesterday. One small habit at a time, one day at a time. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Become better.